Good morning, everyone. It's just a little bit after 8 o'clock. It's Saturday morning. It's time for our Zoom walk and talk. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. Goodness. We've got a lot of people in the room and
Get
more
back here.
people coming on in. So, gosh, as we always like to do, Carol, I know you're out and about in sunny Sarasota, Florida. I know you're going to be traveling quite a bit coming up, a month or so of travel. So for now, we've got you in sunny Sarasota, Florida, and love you to kick off the program here. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me all right? Am I muted, unmuted?
We can hear
Where
you
I'm
just
at.
great. You're
Okay.
perfect.
Well, I'm not going to any major long, I'm not going to drop off the face of the earth or anything. It's just a lot of these short trips in between stuff. And I was telling some of the folks I'm trying to get my device, my retexturizing artistry device going, but I've got 28 days straight until between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that's when I'm going to do it. But anyway, all that aside, I've been talking a lot about vitamin D and different supplements and stuff like that over the last few weeks. Today, I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm going to just give you a thought, and that is every day is not a sunny day, okay? Even in Florida, we have our dreary days too. So if we hit a dreary day on our HealthPointe journey to healthy living, just know that that's part of life. Nothing is going to be straight up, but you'll figure it out along the way. And it always works if you stick to the program, stay close to your coach, and you get it figured out. But it was interesting. Somebody sent me this little thing. And it's a guy sitting at the desk, and he's talking on the phone. And he said, I would have gotten that report to you sooner, but I wasn't held enough as a child. I wasn't held enough as a child was his reason that he didn't do something. And it kind of made me think of not only HealthPointe. HealthPointe is our health journey, but in all areas of our life, sometimes it's easy to just, excuse me, the sun's in my eyes and the car just came. Sometimes it's easy to just, blame it on something, or not blame it on something, but get sidetracked on something. And Eric gave me a really great podcast. I'm going to give you credit for that, Eric. And it was all about some of these drugs that are out on the marketplace today. And it was some very reputable doctors. And they were giving some of their take on some of these drugs. Now, these drugs, you got to know, are shots or pills that you have to take the rest of your life. So to me, they are a crutch. Because it does not address what we have to address, that every day is not a sunny day, and that we have to make changes. That's why we are reading the book that we're reading. We have to change our story to change our life. And when we come to that mature realization, the rest is a process of figuring it out. And because we have a coach with HealthPointe, how wonderful is that? The American public or whoever does not have that kind of situation. They can go in, they can get a shot, they can get a pill, and that's fine. But nobody is there to take them step by step and help them to get those lifelong healthy habits so that they don't have these issues for the rest of their life, and they're not on a pill or injection for the rest of their life. And I thought how wonderful that is. And Eric brought out how powerful that is for us in HealthPointe, following HealthPointe, talking to people about HealthPointe, or working with somebody about HealthPointe, is that we are there for that individual. And I think you can't put that in a HealthPointe app. You can't put that in a HealthPointe kit. You can't put that in a supplement. That is something that is just there. And it's probably the most precious thing that you have in the HealthPointe program. So if you find yourself, as you will sometime in your journey, frustrated, stuck a little setback, what you think is a major setback, which is a little tick, but we want to keep going with this thing. Just know this, you have a coach, you have a program, just follow the program, stick to the process, and it works. It works all the time. And when I think of some of the folks out in the marketplace that are looking, like Larry said last week, they're looking, and then Eric brought up those articles, and it make you realize how many people are looking. You realize that we do have the answer, and we have safe, healthy, beautiful answer that will add years and years and years to your life if you follow it. So that's my take for today, Eric.
Well, I love it, Carol. That's always such an amazing start to the program, such a foundation for as we start our walk and talks. I can't think of a better foundation than that. So it's interesting, isn't it? You know, as you said, it's inevitable, particularly if somebody has a long journey. Let's say that somebody from a weight loss standpoint has, you know, more than, you know, 7 pounds to lose, you know, if they've got 10 or 20 or 50, or, you know, I've got a gentleman that's, you know, well over 100 pounds in his journey. Doesn't it make sense that on any journey, think of a physical walk journey, a walk through a mountain path, up through a woods, or a journey through college. Did you ever have any setbacks in schooling? Did you have any setbacks in a relationship, in a marriage? You know, that is it always green lights? Is it always smooth sailing? How about a job? Have you ever gone for, you know, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years in a job and always had it green lights, always had it easy peasy? Hey guys, it's no different in HealthPointe. If you've got these 6-week cycles, will you hit some difficulties in that journey like you would in any other category of life? Absolutely. And Carol, that's what you're pointing out is how I took it. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for sending those podcasts, because that always incites my brain and reminds me of where people are at, where the marketplace is. And all of you that send stuff, somebody sent me this little cartoon. This is valuable stuff. Never feel funny about sending Eric or myself or Hank some stuff, because it all usually comes at a perfect time. So anyway,
that's true.
That's it.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Yes, that article that you referenced, when I kind of cycle around to my time here, I'm going to spend a little time on that as well. But for now, going around the horn, again, guys, if you'd like to speak, feel free to mention it in chat or by using the raise your hand feature on the dashboard. But that said, I know Kathy in particular mentioned that she wanted to get going early here because she's got a little bit of a time constraint. So I always refer to you, Kathy, as the step queen. And as always, and this is a general rule too, you know, for those that are active in HealthPointe, feel free to say, like, when you started the program, how many pounds down you are, if you'd like to. If you're in a different phase of the program, like Emily and I, we did the program in 2017. You know, I lost about 20 pounds, you know, got down to near my high school weight, and it's made all kinds of difference. But we're in lifetime maintenance mode, part of HealthPointe. But that said, I'm turning it over to you, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. So yes, quick synopsis of my journey. I lost 58 pounds. I started the beginning of June of 2018 and achieved that goal by the beginning of January 2019, and have kept it off the entire time. Yes, even during COVID. And so in January, it'll be hard to believe, it'll be 5 years. So and although I am the step queen, yes, I will say today will be day 1 year, 204 days consecutively of doing 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah, woo.
So Although no, it's only been not quite 2 years. I lost the weight almost 5 years ago, and I did not do 10,000 consecutively. It was always my goal to get to 10,000, but I really got to say probably 60% of the time that I was in my weight loss journey in the cycles, I probably averaged between 6 to 8,000. It wasn't a primary focus to do 10. I had so much other stuff going on. I just had to make sure I got a decent amount of steps to lose weight, but during COVID was when I really kind of started stepping it up a little bit, to pardon the phrase. There wasn't much else to do. And I did work I was working every day, but I was working remote every day. So I just walked around my house a lot. And you can see, if you see my camera right now, it looks like a pretty familiar trek. Most of my steps are either done on my lunch hour at work. I'm an administrative assistant for a regional educational service agency. And I yesterday hammered out 3,500 in about 35 minutes in the lobby because it was cold. And I wanted to get some done and warm up, and it worked. And usually I do a good amount of them during my lunch hour at work. And then I'll round up the night at home here, walking back and forth between my kitchen and my dining room. That's the area I'm doing right now. The idea is just being cognizant of it. And at this point, yes, I am the step queen. It's who I am. I do 10,000 steps a day. I tell anybody that whenever I see them, whenever I get the opportunity. I did offer another coworker to join us today because she's noticed me out in the lobby before, and she got an Apple Watch, so she's starting to do some steps at least. And I shared with her the 10,000 step video that David Dassaw had shared with me. I've shared that with several people, and because it just talks about the benefits of doing 10,000 steps a day, just by doing something as simple as this. And it's not simple. I mean, you have to focus on it, but it is basically simple. You don't have to have a gym membership to do it. You can add years to your life just by simply walking 10,000 steps a day. So that's what I've done. That's my goal. And I use that as, a caveat to talk to people about that I'm a health and wellness coach. And, they're always like, whoa, 10,000 steps a day. I could never do that. Well, yeah, you could, you don't start it. I don't expect you to start at 10,000 on day one, but you can do it. It's all about what you want to do. And, at this point, like I said, it's who I am. But like Carol said, there's not always sunny days. As I've spoken before, my mom's been in the ER in the middle of the night. I was in the ER, little cubicle doing steps because I had to get my 10,000 in before midnight, and then still there at like 3 a.m, didn't know what the next day was going to hold. Couldn't sleep, might as well do steps. So, it's all in how you embrace whatever it is that you need to do. And you are in control. And especially with this program, you're in control. You get to pick what you want to eat from a plethora of natural foods. You don't like blueberries, fine, eat strawberries or raspberries or an orange. So there's all different options. So just, hang on tight and go for it. And maybe in 2 years, you'll be at 10,000 steps a day too, consecutively. So that's what the Step Queen has for today.
That is really great. And you mentioned that one of your coworkers might be joining us, and I think she has. And by the way, I've kind of muted everybody because we had a little bit of background noise. So if I mention your name and you're talking and nobody hears you, it's because you need to unmute. But I believe Phillaire is a friend of yours, Kathy, and Phillaire.
Yes, actually, Phillaire's on the program. It's not Phillaire. Her name was Rosalind. It doesn't look like she joined us, but Phillaire is actually on the program. She's getting active again. So we're definitely happy to have her back in the community. But Rosalind was the one who I invited, and apparently she's too busy. So, but happy to have Phillaire back. Welcome back, Phillaire.
No worries, no worries. Maybe Rosalind at a future date, but Phillaire, welcome to you. Glad to have you on here. And we're going to continue around the horn a bit. I'm going to jump in here with something that Carol mentioned that I think was viewed by some people because it was on Tuesday. And then I'll go around the horn a little bit here I'm going to, Erica, I see you on here. If you are available after me, you're welcome to speak. And then Larry after Erica, if you are available and interested. So with that, let me kind of jump in here on a segment. So because this wasn't covered in our last Saturday walk and talk, I actually covered this on some other training that Hank and Carol had on Tuesday. But this past Sunday, you know, we're in Michigan here, and Emily and I headed up to do kind of a color tour. We joined our very dear friends, Dave and Sue McFarland. Many of you know Dave and Sue McFarland, also HealthPointe proteges and business owners. And we joined them up at Mackinac Island for kind of a color tour and so forth. It was amazing. But my point is that in the lobby of the hotel, so here we are, Dave and Sue and Emily and I, and in the Iroquois Hotel there's a nice little room. They have a tea service and all kinds of fun stuff. It's a really quaint little boutique hotel. And Dave pointed down to the table where they had kind of the coffee station and so forth. And there was a stack of newspapers, as sometimes happens in a hotel, and there was the USA Today front page, and I realized that I gotta figure out how to get this to not blur out when I do this. Hey guys, actually it's that's fine, because we also have a link to the digital version of the article. But here's a point. This is a front page of USA Today called The Diabetes Dilemma. And it's not only the front page, it goes on to a full top to bottom, left to right, next page, right up on the diabetes dilemma. So we often talk about, you know, statistically, how many people in America are suffering from diabetes or pre-diabetes. Well, guys, if you get front page real estate on a major newspaper like USA Today, you got to know that this is a big deal going on. And so it cites kind of, and Kathy, you may need to mute yourself. It cites three people in the program that are, you know, kind of case studies. And the one that is really kind of tragic is one named James. If you read the article, and you can just Google USA Today diabetes dilemma, and you'll find it. But there's James, who, you know, it kind of chronicles his experience, and, you know, people struggling with trying to find solutions to, you know, reverse this diabetes, to get, you know, help with their health. And James ultimately, and if I could show you the picture, you would see it. He lost a battle with neuropathy, and actually they had to cut off his leg from the knee down. Now, you know, are we getting heavy here on our Saturday morning walk and talk? Well, guys, you know, this sometimes it does get kind of heavy, right? Because if someone is experiencing diabetes, type 2 diabetes we're talking about, and they don't address it, it can set up all kinds of illnesses. It talks about Brian here, who had a heart attack, talks about Robin Ray, similar situation with her. And then, you know, many of us have known people that have had problems with, you know, maybe going blind or having deteriorating eyesight or neuropathy, which can lead to amputation. And so, unfortunately, here's my take on this article. For me, and I was talking with Carol about this just points out we've got a lot of work to do, guys. We need more passionate coaches. We need to have more people reaching out in a what do I want to say? You know, a heartfelt, you know, non-judgmental, helping solution way to help people. One of the things that this article cites is I've often, you know, cited that 1 out of 3 Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And this article says that 50% of adults in America are diabetic or pre-diabetic. So guys, we need more people helping, more people spreading the word. And, this article was largely without solutions. It talked about, with James there, how he was frustrated. He's in the hospital and he said, and you read this in the article, it says, well, I'll read it to you. It says, every week a surgeon would come to the door of his hospital room and before even stepping all the way in, ask Haynes whether he had decided to get his leg amputated. He says, this is my leg. I was born with this. And you're walking in like you're cutting a piece of cake, Haynes says. Okay, so it also goes on to cite a medical system where from a financial standpoint, from a billing standpoint, that it's cheaper to cut off a leg than it is to address the problem, from a health solution standpoint. I mentioned last time I was talking about this with your program, Carol, on Tuesday, that the article doesn't go into a lot of solutions. It does actually go into some solutions. It is focusing somewhat on the GLP-1 class of drugs like Ozempic and so forth, and maybe we'll spend a little bit more time on that today. But it doesn't really hit things at the level that we hit it at. Guys, we've got a 6-week cycle program that absolutely works. Yes, it does require you to do something to make it work, but one of the things that many people experience once they're on the program and they follow the program is that there is a chemical change in your body. One of our most powerful hormones is insulin. It really can affect how you feel. And when you go from an insulin roller coaster where your blood sugar roller coaster where you're going hyperglycemic, your blood sugar is screaming super high, and then you're plummeting and going super low, and then you're rising and going super high, and you're on that roller coaster, and you can get that more level and gentle rises and dips in your blood sugar. That has an incredible effect on your mood. It has an incredible effect on your hunger. It has an incredible effect on your overall sense of well-being. So anyhow, guys, I just wanted to circle back around. This was just this past weekend, USA Today, front page news, talking titled "The Diabetes Dilemma." And I'm just so thankful that we are all, active in the HealthPointe program. This is a worldwide program. We've got teams in Australia that have, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people participating in the HealthPointe program. And it's just great to be part of the solution to this massive problem. So guys, with that, I'm going to turn it over to, who did I say? Well, if you're available and interested, Erica, I think you were next. If you'd like to unmute and go on camera, you're welcome to.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's good to be back on. I know I can't make every Saturday, and the Saturdays I can make, it's like, yeah, I get to see my friends again. So I'm actually pacing up and down in my driveway right now, because when I would go 2 houses to the left or 2 houses to the right, my signal would cut out. So I hope you guys can hear me all right. Can you hear me all right, Eric?
We can hear you just fine.
Great.
It was a little bit garbly at first, but we're hearing you just fine right now. So great.
Awesome. I don't have too much this morning, but I did want to welcome my client Kathy Mick on. She has joined us for the first time. She is in her first.
Yeah.
Hey, Kathy.
Yay! She's in her
Welcome, Kathy. Yay, there's 2 of us now.
6-week cycle. Yeah, I know. And she's just getting into the add more food phase, and so we're kind of working through, the purpose of the add more food days and how that helps keep the metabolism firing. So when we get into that second 6-week phase, we can see another nice drop in weight. But I did want to give Kathy a big shout out here. She recently went and walked the El Camino in Spain for the second time. So she was getting thousands and thousands of steps in, and she has inspired me to want to go and walk that one day. So thanks for joining us, Kathy. I'm glad you're on. And that's about all I got for today.
Hey, that is great. And Kathy, I don't know if you care to unmute and go camera on and speak. We'll give you a moment if you'd like to, but I just wanted to say that this El Camino is very inspiring. So you've inspired Erica, and I can tell you that the same couple that I was just talking about, our friends Dave and Sue, they just did the El Camino. They did it. They flew into France and did the initial leg there, where they're like day one is starting to climb the Pyrenees, but they're going and they're going to do the next leg, and Emily and I may join them. So I don't know, we might have to get a whole HealthPointe contingent to zip over to Europe and do the El Camino. So Kathy, if you want to say anything about that, go ahead and chime in.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
We sure can.
Oh, because I don't very often do Zoom calls. I just recently retired from nursing, but I do have my license. But anyways, yes, the El Camino de Santiago. My brother and I did the first one, the French route, back in 2019, and that inspired us both to do it again. It is just a once in a lifetime, revigoration, I guess. We enjoyed it so much that we did the northern route. And I think that was the springboard to my walking. And because I've gotten used to walking, we spent 6 weeks in Spain. The last, maybe a week, we did some touring. We did Madrid, and on the second trip, we went to Portugal. But anyways, the hike itself, very spiritual yet physical. So I think that really was the inspiration to my continuing my journey through this, among other reasons too. Erica can fill you in on the details on that, but we've been doing this for a year now, almost a year. Anyways, the walk, I highly suggest that you do it at least once. Do the French route. And I think you'll think back to what I said, that it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to get to know yourself, how to be a better person. You're going to get physically active and more physically in shape. There's no doubt about it. And I think that will inspire you to continue your own journey, whatever that may be. So here I am in my Add More Food days. And do I like that? No, because I see a little bit of my efforts going in not so right direction, but it is a learning process for me. And I can't thank Erica enough for all her support and guidance through this. And yes, your coach is very valuable instrument in doing something new, stepping outside your comfort zone and getting to know yourself a little bit better. So here I am, and I'll continue for a second set of 6 weeks of this program till I get to my target weight.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Kathy. That was awesome.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much, Kathy. No kidding. El Camino, that's I've seen the pictures, didn't know anything about this before, and now I've learned more about it from the likes of you, Kathy. So thank you for sharing that. No doubt it's in Emily and I's future for sure. In fact, I think she's already, I don't know if she's booked airline tickets. I always worry when she kind of huddles up with Sue. Next thing I know, I'm like, I just turn and like, sure, yeah. I just nod my head, yeah. Next thing I know, off we go. Yeah. In case you guys think I'm some sort of leader, guys, she's the leader. I'm just doing my best to stay in her draft that she creates. No, she's a quiet leader, and we are super excited about that. And thanks for sharing, Kathy. And You know, on the HealthPointe front, on the Add More Food Days, and maybe we'll do a bit of a chat here on this, or maybe we'll chat more in the future. Add More Food Days is, as a coach, I can tell you, it is more of a struggle, candidly, to help people value it and understand it than it is the first 4 weeks of the program. And I think back to 2017, you know, when Emily and I did the program, guys, we were just all in, you know, just following it. I just wanted to not have any reason other than the failure of the program, that if I failed, it was a failure of the program. It wasn't my failure to follow the program. So I just stuck real tight to it. And also it was just easier for me just to make a tough, you know, tight decision and not waver from that. You know, I can stand on my head for 6 weeks, you know, so I figured I could do HealthPointe. But the Add More Food Days is, again, the 4 weeks of menu plan days, which is the part of the program that is weight loss. That is intuitive to everyone, right? Everybody understands, hey, I'm on this program. I want to do this. I want to get this result. I want to lose this weight. So this feels natural. This psychologically feels right. Emotionally feels right. Physically feels right. What the heck is this Add More Food Days thing? You know? And I have a chart. I won't show it right now, but I had a client that, you know, didn't follow it, you know, was kind of stiff arming me on it. And I just explained the value of it. And like Erica said, and yes, you've got an amazing coach in Erica. I could go on and on about Erica, but I think you know. But when it comes to the Add More Food Days, think about it like this. Our bodies have naturally evolved that if you are in a sustained deficit, you know, think about it. If you're on a desert island and you only have a limited amount of food to get, you know, your body has to be engineered so that ideally you don't die if you're on this desert island and there's a deficit, there's a reduction in food and calories and carbs, you know, call it what you want. So how does it do that? After a certain amount of time, we'll call it 4 weeks, it will start slowing your metabolism. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm saying that rhetorically. Does that make sense to everyone? It's going to start slowing your metabolism so that if you're not burning as much fuel, because you don't have as much fuel, there's not as much food, there's a deficit, it will slow your metabolism, reduce that burn so that you survive, so that your brain stays healthy, all your vital organs stay healthy. So what happens is if you're in a sustained program of deficit, I won't name programs out there, but to my knowledge, virtually every other program out there does that. They just weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, and then it gets harder and harder and harder and so much easier for you to yo-yo. So what the science behind HealthPointe decades ago, you know, figured out is that the ideal cycle is to kind of trick your body, go 4 weeks of deficit, and then starting in the 5th week, start adding more food. It's very nuanced. It is more nuanced than the 4 weeks. There's 3 levels to it. And you definitely want to be paying attention to your food scale and measuring everything, but you're going to slowly increase the amount of food. So what you want to do is kind of trick your body. Think about it as kind of tricking your body. It thought there was a deficit. It was maybe slowing your metabolism. Now it's going to see that there's not a deficit, that there's more food coming in. You're increasing the food gradually. And it's going to say, hey, I thought there was a deficit here. I guess there's not. Happy times are here again. Look at all this food. And it'll start speeding up your metabolism. And there's other things that affect your metabolism, but this is one component. So we want to get that metabolism sped up through week 5, sped up more through week 6. And then if you have more weight to lose, we're going to kick in, drop back down into a fresh 6-week cycle. But this gal that I'm referencing, she didn't do it. She stiff-armed the process the first time. And we looked at her chart and saw where she continued to lose weight through weeks 5 and week 6. And you know what? when she started her next 6-week cycle, it was a kind of a tough start. She wasn't getting the results that she should have been getting. And she realized that it was because she didn't, set up success for the next 6-week cycle, because she kind of didn't do things correctly in that weeks 5 and week 6. But the good news is when she came around to the second round, add more food days, guess what she did? She followed it to a T. And you can look at her chart and you can see where she was dropping for 4 weeks. And then she got to weeks 5 and it just leveled out. She, you stay within a 1 to 2 pound range, and she just leveled right out through week 5, leveled right out through week 6. And then when the next 6-week cycle started of menu plan days, bam, she just dropped like a rock on that next cycle. So that's what you want to do. It is not intuitive. I get it. It's hard to understand emotionally. We want to just keep on losing weight. Totally understand it. But guys, this program is bigger than all of us. This program has been around for a long time, and the science proves out. All right, that is my little talk track on that. Sorry about a little bit wordy there, but we are going to go around the horn here to, I think, Larry. Larry, if you're interested and available, and then after you, Larry, we'll go to Emily and then Billy, and we'll see from there. All right.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, thank you, Eric, for the time to share just for a quick moment. Hey, I want to stay on the theme of having a coach. I can't tell everybody how valuable it is to have a coach. My background is health and physical education at one time. And so coaching, and also coaching football, basketball, track. So I've been doing coaching in a different arena other than HealthPointe, but coaching is pretty much the same. And I can't tell you how valuable a coach is. I was talking to a potential client the other day, and I was telling them that I have been working on keeping my health, but see, what we do is we think that the same things that we did in the past, we can do as we get older, as our metabolism slows down, and then it doesn't work for us. And then we find that our weight, as the client I was just talking to, she was doing all the things that she normally did, but her weight kept creeping up, and so the program does help to educate us and to get us on the right track of healthy eating, developing a good relationship with food. But I tell you, the value of a coach helping you out, encouraging you, giving you tips, letting you know when you think that things are not working or not going right, or you have something that you go, oh man, my weight went back up. And sometimes we need to realize that with a coach, that's just a part of it, as Eric just got done saying, that we have things that happen to us. And so when we're on this webcast, which is very valuable as well, people that come in are encouraged to do their steps, as we're seeing with some of the folks that are working together. And also we're getting information that we could share with people to help them be healthier. One of the things that I had mentioned a while ago was I've been on the program for about 5 or 6 years, off and on, and helping other people. I realized that, I'm learning more things. I'm changing my habits, and along with the reading, the coaching. And then sometimes when I get stuck, I give my coach, Dave Dasso, such a hard time, but he's a great coach, and he's very encouraging. Never says anything, even though, you ate something that you weren't supposed to eat. He's like, okay, just do a protein day, get back on the program. And so
popcorn.
So we learn. David, you tell us.
Somebody just got called out.
Yeah, David tells all my secrets, but my wife and I, we like to go to the movies, and when we go to the movies, guess what? We get a big box of popcorn. I don't eat anything else during the day, but I mess up my program with popcorn, and then it's like, okay, back to protein day, and then back on track again. But coaching is so valuable, and the things that got off several medications and lowered some medications, during this whole process. And the things I like to hear from my doctors, I don't see them that much anymore, once a year for my yearly checkup. But the things I like to hear from them is, Larry, I wanted to prescribe something for you, but you're doing okay. You don't need it. Or I had my general practitioner who just said, you know what, you're becoming a boring patient. And I love to hear those. So anyway, that's my spiel, and thanks, Eric, for the time.
Yes.
Hey, Larry, I don't know. Am I muted?
No, you're on.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't mean to butt in, but for everybody, if you love popcorn, it's not the theater popcorn, but we have a wonderful, wonderful popcorn called Slim Popcorn. And it's got sea salt, and it has got green tea, and it is delicious. Now, it's not eking in grease, but I'll tell you something, it satisfies that crunchiness. So if you're going to the movies, throw a couple of those in there, a perfect water, and they tell you can't bring anything to the movies, baloney. I went to see the Cry for Freedom movie, and I put in a bar, and I put in water in my purse, and nobody took me to the jail.
Good, we need you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. And yeah, we Emily and I have done the same thing. And also, if you feel guilty about things, sometimes what I've done is I've purchased at one of our theaters, when you purchase a soda, they just give you the cup and you go fill it up yourself. So I purchased that, but then I just have one or two of our excess energy drinks, and I'll just get some ice and crack that and pour that in there. So yeah,
you're so much nicer, Eric.
I know it. It's well, actually, we knew who was working at the movie theater, and so yeah, they were watching us. So, but anyhow, yeah, these little workarounds here, and so, but that's great. And Larry, you mentioned about the value of a coach, and a phrase that I often use is, "Let me do the worrying for you." In other words, let me. Sometimes people are doing the program and they're wondering whether or not they're on track, or they might think they're not on track, and so they're worried. And I often say, hey, let me do the worrying for you. I'll let you know whether you're on track or off track. And trust me, if you're off track, I'm going to let you know that too. But try to dish off your worrying on me, and let me help you decide whether or not you should be kind of concerned or whether you're on track or not. So I totally agree, Larry. The value of a coach is incredible, even if it's one that calls you out on popcorn. Sorry about that, Larry. All right.
I do want to say one thing. One thing that we have to think about is, like, I was trying to do it by myself or trying to do it from my own influence. But like I was telling that client, sometimes you can't do it by yourself. Hank has told us many times, he's mentioned about golfers or tennis players or somebody, and they always have a coach, and that coach helps to get them through. And so we, instead of trying to do it by yourself, get a little bit of help, and then you'll be just fine.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Thank you, Larry. We're going to go to Emily if she would like to, and then to Billy. And Phillaire, we mentioned about you earlier. I don't know if you'll want to speak or not, but we'll give you an opportunity to after Billy if you would like to. But for now, we'll go to Emily.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome, Kat. And welcome, Kathy. Thanks so much for sharing your Camino experience. Eric and I definitely, or maybe me talking, I'm not sure about Eric, we definitely want to do the French route in September. So I've been doing a little bit of planning, and I might reach out to you for help.
Okay.
So along the line with coaching, I cannot agree more with Larry on that. We started the program in 2017, June. I remember exact month. Back then we did not know who should we reach out to have as a coach. So Eric and I, we help each other. So Eric pretty much as my coach and a partner, and having someone there to be with you on the journey is so essential, is a key. And I think that's how I got the result. So I already shared with what I got out of this program, losing 5 pounds, which is no big deal, but I reduced my body fat from 30% plus down to 18-20% range. So and so many more benefits from this program that it is beyond my belief in the beginning. So we have to trust the program. So talking about HealthPointe continually, I start reading the user guideline again. Why not, right? I read it in 2017, and last week I started reading this guide again because for past few years I've been spend a lot of time reading, learning in this space, wellness, health, and I follow experts or well-known figures in this field. And why not go back and read our program? And oh my gosh, there is so many amazing information in this book that I forgot. This program is brilliant. I can confidently say that because I have read not a lot, but I'm very actively reading, learning, researching in this space. And this program so alive with recent research, and maybe some days I can go into a little more detail and technical things that I can point out things that this program is so brilliant. Again, it's so alive with our recent research. So I'll go through this book, and there are a few quotes that I really love. And again, I didn't remember reading this in 2017. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going, by Jim Ryan. And Larry mentioned it's all about habits, good habits. That is also a key. And I want to cite another quote before I give the time back to you guys. I don't want to take too much time. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you absolutely, positively do have the power to change, by Bill Phillaire. And I can attest to that. We can definitely change it first, change our thinking, change our habits. And that's it. That's all I have to share today. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And for those that don't know, if I didn't mention it clearly, if you're new on the program, Emily is my beautiful wife. And so, like she said, back in 2017, we were kind of each other's, accountability partner. And it's been so fun to continue on this journey together. And no, I love what you're saying there, Emily. And I had a similar experience, and I think a number of us have, where when you kind of revisit, maybe it's the HealthPointe user guide, the HealthPointe, the thing that really hit me was the daily messages. And it's one of the reasons that we went to putting the daily messages also on our YouTube channel, where I asked my assistant to dictate them into 45 different audio recordings. So you can listen to day 17, day 18, maybe as you're driving, as well as reading them. I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but and Emily, I don't know that either of us really read the daily messages back in 2017. If I did, I totally lost track of them. But guys, when you read those daily messages or listen to those daily messages on YouTube, oh my gosh, there are gems in there. And it's very clear whoever, was originally putting together these daily messages, and I know it was a team, but these are people that are not coming at it from theory. These are people that know what it's like to do the program, because there are absolute gems in there that if you've done the program, and particularly if you've coached the program, those things just jump out off the page at you when you read them. You're like, oh my gosh. So Emily, when you mentioned about, kind of going back through the HealthPointe, kind of going back through the basics of the manual and stuff like that again, and having that impact on you, it's so true and so valuable. And so thank you for sharing that. So we're going to go to Billy, and then Phillaire, if you'd like to be. Billy, good morning, and how are you?
I'm doing great this morning, Eric. Thanks for being on the call this morning also. Just a thought I was thinking about is that this week, well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I did go on HealthPointe, and it worked for me. It worked for me. I did lose my 12 pounds, and I was glad for that. Although my wife went on it, but it seemed like it didn't work for her, but it worked for me. And I learned a whole lot from it, and I learned a whole lot for being on the program, on the call with you and Carol and everybody else in the morning time. And I agree with Larry also for having a coach. And when you have somebody that you can, look for information, look for somebody to sort of help you, when something going wrong, let you know you're on the wrong track. It's a whole lot, but to be thankful for, and you feel good inside. This week I had a doctor appointment, and so I went to the doctor, and they always like to draw blood. And 4 years ago, when I went to the doctor, they found some negative thing wrong with me. And so what I did with the help of the doctor and Eric, and also Carol and Hank, we fixed that problem. And I was I had to make some changes. And I'm so glad that I had to do something different, and they're working right now, and I appreciate it. So when I went to the doctor this time, she didn't tell me what Larry doctor told her, but she was, she couldn't say nothing. The last time I went, 4 years ago when I went to her, she was complaining that she wanted to put me on medication. And I told her, right now, I don't want no medication. Let me work on billing. So I worked on billing with the help of Hank and Carol example. It worked. So my everything looking great. I feel good inside. I feel like sometimes I got to pace myself, make sure I'm still here. That's all I got to say.
I love it. Billy, you're so fun. You're so fun. And oh my gosh, for those that don't know, Billy is in a different time zone. So when we talk about it being early here on the East Coast at 8 a.m., walk and talk, it's even earlier for Billy. So, but Billy, you are steady, you're consistent. We love having you as part of this community. You add so much value, and dude, you are a stud. I mentioned this the other day, when I saw you in was it Oklahoma City or something like that,
Yeah.
The dude's fit, man. The dude is a stud. Yeah, so way to go. Yeah, you're doing awesome. So thank you, Billy. And then Phillaire, I gave a shout out to you. I didn't know if you wanted to speak or not. If you did, you're welcome to. I'll watch for it to unmute. If I don't see it unmute, we'll kind of move along here. But Phillaire, I see an unmute, so welcome, Phillaire.
Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Kathy Munoz. She's been an awesome coach as I've started this journey. I've had a couple setbacks, a couple restarts, a couple times. My mother had some health issues, so I was dealing with all that, but she's stable now, which is awesome. She is 95 years old, and she's sort of my inspiration as I start to lose some weight on this path. So I'm back at it. Two things that struck me today, Eric, you had said, or was it Kathy? I can't remember. Two things. One was taking control and the fact that I am in control, I can do this. And then the other thing someone said was sticking tight to the program. I haven't really been following it as strictly as I should. So I've seen some weight loss, but not a lot. But this group today has sort of remotivated me to get back on track and do this. So I appreciate being able to walk and talk with all of you. And that's it.
Oh, fantastic, Phillaire. And we will, I'll kind of wrap things up here, and we'll wrap up the program here for this morning. I can't think of a better wrap up than, I actually remember when you first were on here, Phillaire, because I was on a bike path and I remember you were on here and you were just very articulate and very clear, and it's just great to have you on here again, and hope you continue to join in. You know, we get out of the program what you put into it, and I think, you know, some of the things that you mentioned there really bring home what we started with, what Carol started with, which is, you know, in life, it's not just HealthPointe, it's life. You know, things are going to happen, and sometimes it's some tough things. You mentioned some things about your mother, and certainly if you're dealing with loved ones and health issues, if you're dealing with your own issues, it can be a struggle sometimes. And what I would encourage everyone, and I think Carol would probably echo this, is it's at those times that you lean in tighter to your coach. I know with folks that I'm helping, it's I'm not hardcore, but the one non-negotiable I have is that you've got to do a daily check-in. I want to get that message every morning. It's what we call the WWW number. You wait, you weigh, and in my case, if somebody can't or won't do that, I won't coach them. It's not because I'm trying to be, you know, hard guy, yard guy. It's just that I know that the accountability portion of things is arguably the most important part of this program. And there are times where I've had people that had some huge life issues, and we had to press pause. And maybe that's kind of what you experienced. And we deliberately did that. We said, hey, for this window of time, you know, we're not going to stop. We're not going to drift. We're not going to unhinge. We're not going to randomly disconnect. We're going to recognize that this is a real hit in our life right now. And that's very real. And for this window of time, or this projected window of time, we don't know what the next X amount of days, the next amount of weeks, the next amount of months are going to go. But let's start with a press pause on, you know, tomorrow we're pressing pause. But we have a point in time in the calendar where we're going to resume, right? Let's say that's a month out. Let's give this a 30-day window where we're not going to do the check-ins for that pausing time. We're going to do that, but we're going to, most importantly, we're going to, you know, agree on a time in the future where we're going to reconnect and presumably start again, or let's see where things are at then. We might need to press pause again, or the storm may have passed. Life might have moved on, events might have unfolded further to where it's more ideal, I guess, to move on. And hey, we're going to start the HealthPointe journey again. So, but those are rare. Those are rare circumstances. I think typically if people just lean in tighter to their coach during the tough times, guys, we are the most. At least I'd speak for myself. I am the most irresponsible coach to myself. You know, so if I want anything to change in my life, the most important element is for me to be accountable to somebody else, and ideally somebody else that knows something about the subject or the area that I'm trying to change. Because becoming accountable to myself is what got me in that situation in the first place. So what logic is there to me thinking that being accountable to myself will get me out of that situation? Good grief. That's just, doesn't make any sense even to me. And I'm the one arguing with myself. So the first thing I need to do is become accountable. And guys, it's fun. Checking in is fun. It's your friend, it's your mentor, it's your co-pilot, it's your guide, it's your conversationalist. It is so wonderful. And so yeah, kind of wrapping up where we started with Carol, talking about the inevitable ups and downs that you have in life and in HealthPointe as well. And then Phillaire, you talking about your experiences. We're just glad that you're here. We hope to see you next Saturday. In fact, we hope to see everybody next Saturday, same time, same place. But if there's nothing else from anybody, and we'll kind of go once, we'll go twice, we'll go 3 times. With that, we'll kind of wrap up. Everybody have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Have a good rest of
Bye-bye.
your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.